State, and this is our final project for a class that's the study of women and gender and STEM. Does anyone know what STEM is or heard of the term before? No? Okay, it's the courses that are surrounding science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And traditionally, these are male-dominated fields. And so we're here to kind of discuss the reasons that they're male-dominated and some ways that we could possibly change that in the future. And again, I'm Jillian Meyer, and I'm a junior in engineering at NC State.
I'm Cheryl Coley. I'm a sophomore in textile engineering.
I'm Christy Birchfield, and I'm a sophomore in elementary education.
I'm Rebecca James. I'm a sophomore in elementary ed.
I'm Mo Chen. I'm a junior in electrical engineering.
Alright, so to start, we just have a brief overview here of what we're going to kind of be talking about. We're going to ask y'all some questions, talk about the factors that influence the gender gap in STEM, the stereotypical gender roles, and gender versus race. Alright, so we pulled this quote from one of our readings for our course. It's kind of what inspired this presentation for us. It says, previous research identified the number of advanced mathematics and science courses taken in high school as the strongest direct influence on choice of a quantitative undergraduate major. So can I just kind of see like a raise of hands of how many people are planning on or have taken math or science courses in higher level or AP levels in high school?
Honors or AP? Honors or AP?
Honors.
In math or science. Alright, and then can you keep your hand raised?
Science. Oh, yeah, okay.
Can you keep your hand raised or put it up if you are a girl and you're planning on doing this?
Don't be scared.
Alright, this is kind of what we're going to be talking about with the genders that are involved in these courses in high school.
Why doesn't he have it so long?
Alright, so some of the questions that we wanted to ask you to get you involved in this. Why do you believe that there's a significantly lower number of women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics than men? So just in the courses that you've seen, why do you think this is?
Because more guys is like better in science and math than
That is a stereotype, you're right. So that's what a lot of women fight against, is the idea that guys are traditionally smarter in these fields than women. And does anyone else have any other ideas? So the different types of interests, yeah, you're right. So a lot of times women will go into different types of fields because, you know, ones that are more mothering, like what was the, they go into like service fields, like nursing and stuff that, you know, falls underneath their type of traditional ways. Anyone else? No? Okay. And do you experience this gender gap in your classes at the high school level? So do you see a big difference? Like, is there any classes that you're in that are mainly dominated by males or females?
Gym class.
Yes.
Gym class?
Like, no, seriously. All the
That
guys
is true.
play basketball.
What'd you say? Was it the allied medical class? Yeah. And what is that dominated by? Females? So one's going into nursing or different types of things like that. I'm sorry?
Drafting.
Drafting, and what is that?
Male.
Male, and that's for engineering and stuff, so that's going to be mainly male. Early childhood, and that's mainly female, I'm assuming?
Oh, auto tag.
Oh, that's all of them, right?
I would never say I'm taking my life. Just say it.
Right, so I mean, there's just different types of interests that males and females have, and they fall into these different categories, and that kind of leads to what careers or even what majors they're going to choose in college. And so when you get into college and you're choosing something that's not necessarily in the career field that most women or most men are choosing, then you're going to find some opposition to that. And my final question is, what are the implications of these gender gaps? And my implication is like, what are the struggles to this? What are the causes of this? And specifically, have any females experienced this? What?
You mean like people like, why are you taking that class?
And what are the reasons for it? And why do you think people are questioning why you're taking the class?
I guess because like last year I had to take weight training because I ran track and that's like mostly guys. So I guess because they don't understand what the interest is in taking the class.
Right. So there's really strong stereotypes
I took, what is that? Team sports. And it's just like, most people go there just to play basketball, just because it's like a free period, but it's not really. I mean, we play games and stuff, but there's only two of us, two girls in the class, and then one other girl. So,
Yeah, so that's pretty tough on you then to get involved in the teams and the sports. All right. And here are kind of the answers to these questions that we just asked and the factors that influence this gender gap. There's a lot of negative stereotypes that women go up against in particular. And it's just like, someone just mentioned, I think it was you, that you think that you don't perform as well in mathematical fields or science fields because you're a woman, and that you're better in language or writing, something in another field. The other is the lack of female representation as teachers and professors in this field. And especially when you get to college, you're going to realize if you go into science or math, all your teachers end up being male. And it's really hard to look to see a role model in these fields if all your professors, your advisors, everything are male. And the fewer number of women, oh sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. The fewer number of women in STEM discourages other women from becoming involved in STEM due to the lack of the network. And the more people that you have around you that have common interests and are fighting the same battles as you are, the better you're going to do and the more you're going to want to succeed. But if you don't have this network around you, then you're going to struggle a lot in the fields that you go into. And it's not saying that you can't do that or you shouldn't do that at all, but just something to be aware of that a lot of people are facing.
Okay, we're going to go over some stereotypical gender roles of male and females. So, men mostly enter math, science, and engineering, whereas women often enter writing, literature, languages, and social sciences. And the occupations that men usually hold are doctors, lawyers, engineers, and scientists, whereas women usually hold positions such as social workers, teachers, nurses, and secretaries. And a key note to think about here is even when females enter male-dominated roles, they typically enter less prestigious ones, such as if a math. Okay.
Someone goes into like medical field.
Yeah. She's gonna do pediatrics and family law, whereas a man would be a doctor. So, do you all have anything to add to these that you know of? That's on the list. It's okay, we don't. Okay, and this is a gender-verse race chart, and this just says different racial and gender groups' trajectories of major and specialization in science, math, and engineering fields. And as you can see, it doesn't matter what race they are, but the bottom four are all women.
What's the scaling on the y-axis?
Not really sure.
Are those
Those are
absolute numbers? Are they
I think it's percent. It's percentage.
Okay, and this is another chart, and it is the percentage of college graduates by race and gender whose undergraduate major was in science, mathematics, or engineering. And the darker color, that's the females, and the lighter color is the males. So these are just different races.
You can see females traditionally are always the lowest, no matter what the gender is, or I'm sorry, no matter what the race is.
So when it comes to Asian females, many times, Asian females have a negative stereotype, being the fact that they're female, so they're seen as lower achievers in the science, technology, engineering, mathematics fields. However, they also have the positive stereotype going for them, which, as an Asian. And then one of the statistics we pulled from our textbook is that 1%, 1.1% of chemical engineers faculty in the U.S. are Asian females, whereas there's 11.3% that are Asian males. Okay, next, I'm going to go tell you guys about a woman named Hammonds. She was a black woman that grew up in the South and struggled not only because of her stereotype as a woman, but also as her race, but also because of her race as well. During the time that she was in school, she went to segregated schools and was not given the same opportunities as other white students. Hammonds pushed through her boundaries due to her love of science and mathematics. And when she returned to school to retake courses and expand her knowledge, when she went to college, she faced further drawbacks as she began her college education in a prep school, and then went on to Georgia Tech to become the only black woman in the dual degree program to finish. And here a quote from her was, "I was completely angry at my parents and my teachers that I had at my high school, who I felt I hadn't pushed me and hadn't given me the right preparation." And this is in response to her not being able to take higher level classes such as calculus and things like that, that didn't really give her enough preparation going into her college education. And then she also states that, "I felt I'd been cheated. I felt I'd been denied the opportunity to have a good education. And I expected that, I expected that opposition as a black person, but never expected opposition because I was a woman."
So I'm a member of the Scholars Program, and I took this class as honors, and my extra assignment was to interview 2 faculty members, and both of them have their doctorates, and I just asked them like a series of questions, kind of like we did you guys, and about their career in graduate school and undergraduate school. And these are just some of the quotes from the interviews that stood out that we thought would be good to share with you guys. And both of these women talked about having supportive science teachers, and that they were their role models throughout their careers. And when asked if they had any advice for women who are wanting to pursue a degree in STEM, Dr. Willoughby states, "If there's any inkling of desire to pursue it, you should do it." And then also they go, and one of them Dr. Willoughby worked in industry, and she said that at the end of a quarter, they would rate themselves on projects that they did, and women tended to rank themselves a lot lower, even lower than the lower performing males. And she stated that this lack of confidence in women is detrimental. And we would like to leave you with a quote from Evelyn Fox Keller, and she states, "I hope that the political awareness generated by the women's movement can and will support young women who today attempt to challenge the dogma still very much alive that certain kinds of thought are the prerogative of men." And that's from one of her articles from her text. And then we also have contact information on the next slide, and we'll leave that with y'all's teacher in case you have any questions of any kind about school, college, and if we can't answer them, we'll get you in contact with somebody that definitely can.